There's no single way of working a vineyard, as we have seen, and some method will be absolutely unbelievable. Welcome back to the North Face of Wine. Today, I present you again other ways of working or tending the soil to the winemaker's specification, his own desires, what he is trying to achieve, what he believes in. There's a lot of beliefs in this profession. And what he can do, what he is limited with according to the machine he uses. You will see absolutely gorgeous example, even completely reshaping the flank of the mountain. And then, as we start looking for wine presses, I take you away to a different village and presenting our first wine press. So, continuing to give you examples of different ways of tending the soil, which in this episode will crescendo, if you will, with the way I feel will be best for my vineyard. But we've seen in the previous episode different ways, if you will, in the lowlands. Now we are more like my parcel, which is on the flank of the mountain, La Savoyarde. And there's a clear intent here for this winemaker to preserve the soil. So the intent here, now on the mountain flank where it's quite steep and then very steep, the intent for this winemaker is to have some graminole here, graminose, plant, sort of like a small family of wheat and rice. That is to keep also the erosion. I remember when I was a kid, it was the big talk. Everybody was concerned about erosion. Every time it rained, there would be in each of these rows here, rain would just bring all the rocks, the stones, the soil down. And one of the reasons why we saw in the previous episode as one of the last ways of tending to topsoil, we see an old style with a deep plowing, about a foot, 30 centimeters deep. That the intent with that, the thinking at the time, was to bring back this erosion, bring it back in the vineyard. Now the thinking has changed. Largely, there's very little plowing in the lowlands. We'll see another way. We'll see three ways today, no more than this. But here, yeah, the idea is really to use grass as a soil retainer and then cut it in early summer, late fall. So here's another example of designing the vineyard according to the equipment the winemaker has. Here we have a very, very large parcel of terraces where this is on mountain flank. The point really is always to be in the direction of the slant. But here, about 30 years ago, as this winemaker was growing, is one of the biggest producer here in Chignan. He had what we call an enjambeur, as we saw last week. And so he had to adapt the terrain to his equipment. He built terraces on many, many different levels. And here is one of them where you can see it's perfectly flat so that his machine that is very high does not tip over. This was groundbreaking, literally, no pun intended. This was groundbreaking. The work he put into this vineyard, this very large parcel, has been really, truly enormous, as he had to build enormous walls to retain the soil that became, in fact, at some point, a very big problem for him. But, and this is now what he is doing, and it's been very, very fruitful. We can see, it's about 30 years old, and the vines grew extremely well. We can see, as we saw last week, it's all the vines are laid down now. It's absolutely gorgeous work, but all adapted to his own machines. I want you in this parcel, I'd like you to take stock of the enormous work they did in order to adapt to machinery. These enormous walls with huge rocks. But not only that, sometimes in many of the terraces, they had to put these planks of wood to retain the soil, put spikes every 2 feet or so, spikes every 2 feet, planks of wood, and these posts to retain the soil. I mean, the work that was done here is truly, truly enormous. Welcome to this episode where we are looking for old style tools to make wine. As little by little, I'm deciding to actually make the wine, get somebody, actually a friend of mine down in the village, to assist us in making the wine legally. Everything will be well done. So now I am looking for old style material, and this is a wine press. We're going to be going into old cellars where all over France, especially this region, where we have a lot of vineyards. There's a lot of these tools that are obsolete, but that's what I want. So here we have a wine press, a white wine press, and a vat where we famously stomp the grapes, the red grapes. So the vat is for red wine, and this is for white. So this is probably what I'm going to get first. So this is our first press. It's a round one. I'm going to present many different kinds because it's super, super interesting. This is a round one with a wooden plateau. The wooden plateau is a little bit rare. They make them, imagine the size of this. This is what? 1, 2, 3, about 5, 6 feet across. And there are many displayed around in villages with a stone base. It's a one-piece stone. It's impossible to move these things. The reason why I came here is because this one is made out of wood. So we'll be able to dismantle it if I choose this one. There's major beams underneath. This is highly, highly heavy. This is probably about 600 pounds. Just this part here is 600 pounds. It used to be made out of wood as well, but this is not that old. Let's say probably about 80 years of age. And they were made out of steel. Now, you'll see, I'm going to get up on this. So the cage here is about 5 feet across. Then there's an enormous beam, so we're going to fill this in September. In September, this will be filled, and several times, most likely. We're going to put huge beams on top, and then press. This will not turn. This part will not turn. We'll press with that, and then there's a click system. We could see we'll fix this bar in here, and this will click and make this big beam come down. And then there will be another bar much longer for more leverage in order to really press. But this will be closed, and it's just going to be a wonderful experience. But I want to introduce you to several kinds. This is the most popular kind. It's round. It's a wood base. It's probably not that old, about 80 years or so, with the clicking system on top. We'll see some round ones. This is a round one. We'll see some square ones as well. We will see some horizontal ones where the plates come closing in like this, and the juice will drain out of this. This is very, very unusual to have this in wood. It's very, very unusual. But as you can see, all of these, there's many for sale. People feel a bit sorry about getting rid of them. We'll get one. We'll renovate one, and we'll have a lot of fun in September. So in addition to the wine press, once the wine press is all caged up, at harvest, what will happen is this whole thing here, this crusher, is going to come on top. And you have two rows activated by a wheel. It's all manual work. That's the way it used to be done. It's all manual work. With this wheel, the men will come, drop the grapes in there. It will crush, and then we will press. It's a two-step process. We don't just press. The grapes will be crushed, and then it will be pressed. That's the best way to get the juice out of it. I hope you have enjoyed all these presentations of various different ways of doing, of working the top soil. All of these efforts, all of these ways translate in your glass of wine without a doubt. In the end, it is where it all begins. This is where your glass of wine begins. And if you follow us throughout the seasons, I suggest you subscribe to the channel. You will see more and more. And again, your experience of a glass of wine will be enhanced many folds as we are also using the beautiful diversity we have in this village. Next time, we will see new parcels as some people, some winemakers are preparing the terrain in order to plant new vines, new parcels. We will see a bunch of that, and that I also hope will interest you in the most. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, in vines we trust.